Small business owner.
Yes.
Thanks for telling us your story and telling us all that information, but you're also a small business owner.
Yes.
And when we got together earlier, we talked about what it is to be a small business owner, and for you, and you're growing. Your business is growing.
Yes.
Right? And one of the challenges that you mentioned is, hiring. How do I get some help?
Yes. And I now have a couple of resources. UC Irvine I will be working with them. They've got a criteria for doing internship programs. So at the beginning of the year, that's where I'm going, because I desperately need post-production help and sometimes assistance helping me out on shoots.
Okay.
As well.
So let's show them the mistakes curve. Right? Now the mistakes curve, this is what happens after you've hired somebody, right? So there is a challenge to hire the right person, right?
Right.
But once you hire somebody, and this is where I see people make errors all the time, right? Business owners, they struggle with it. And so if you understand the mistakes curve, it makes you a lot more comfortable with sort of this process, the training process and the learning process that a new employee has, right? So here's the curve. It starts out with an X and a Y axis. So the bottom is volume and the Y axis is time, right?
Okay.
And it's just like most curves, right? But in the beginning, what we understand is that the volume of mistakes made, anytime you learn something new, the volume of mistakes is great.
Right.
Depending on the complexity, it could be really great,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But over time, right, because we learn from our mistakes, we get a little bit better and we move to a position of proficiency, right? Eventually we make fewer and fewer mistakes, right? This is the natural learning curve, right? And as long as we're on this curve, we're fine, right? People are going to make mistakes early. Now there are ways to adjust this curve, right? You can make this curve not quite so wide or maybe not quite so tall. And this is where education, things like books, reading, videos, workshops, seminars, a coach, all of these things are designed to reduce that curve. Or you can just accept the curve that's there today.
Right.
Now, one of the other things that designs that helps affect that curve is when you have a good solid process, right?
Yes.
That they say, hey, take steps 1 to this is the process that you use, and typically it's written down, right? So somebody could follow it, and it's not just spoken, right? Because there's lots of places for confusion in the spoken word.
Yes.
So if we have a really tight process, we can make that curve be a little bit smaller, right?
Yes.
But the key here is as long as you're on this curve, this is nature's learning curve. If you're on this curve, it's the oldest learning tool in the history of mankind. It's called trial and error. You will get there, right? And then your job as the business owner bringing somebody new on board is to figure out, how can I shorten this curve? How can I make this happen?
Yes.
So as long as you're here, you're good,
Yes.
right? But here's where people get trouble, right? They start looking at this curve over here. Now notice this curve here. This is the failure to learn curve, right?
Right.
And what happens here, and you notice these are two vertical lines, right? So this is somebody that's not learning from their mistakes.
Yes.
They're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We always do, but we have to learn from them. If we fail to learn from those mistakes, then we get on this vertical line, right? Now this is two parallel lines. Do two parallel lines ever merge?
No, never.
Never. Never, ever.
Ever. Yep.
But I get business owners sit here and say, well, they're going to get it eventually. And they can't.
Right. Either you're doing something wrong or they're not right for the position.
Something's broken.
Yes.
Something's broken. Something's not working. And so you, as the business owner that's looking for this person, if they're on the natural learning curve, you're going down the right path. Feel comfortable that you're going down the right path. And you are on the lookout for this vertical line curve, because the sooner you see that, the faster is the time you say, look, switch, change, do something different, right? Another day, another week, another month, another year, nothing's going to get any better. You never get there, right? And I get business owners that just say, oh, well, that's just who they are. That's just what it is. And they accept it. And in the long run, they don't get the performance that they're looking for from their new hire.
Right.
This is the mistakes curve. Then we take a look at the other side of this, which is called the good decisions curve, right? And so we have the same y-axis and the same x-axis, right? Time and volume.
Right.
But whenever you're learning something new, right, how many good decisions do you make? Not very many, right? Because you don't know any better,
Right.
So when we have a new employee or a new something, right, we don't want to give them very many decisions to make. We don't want to even give them the choice to make decisions, if at all possible. If we could give them a scripted, take steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, again and again and again, to deliver the quality and results that you want, right? That's how we have to train somebody in the beginning.
That's how you get consistency.
That's how you get consistency, right?
Right.
Now, over time, right, they're going to get better, right? And once they get the process dialed in, if they want to add some things, they say, hey, listen, we could do this, we could change that, we could make it better.
Right.
That's fine, but it's only after they understand the model and the process that you've built 100%.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because, and we have people that sit there and say, listen, you figure it out. Well, the problem, the way they figure it out is they're going to make mistakes. They've not done it before. They've not worked for you. They don't know how you think.
Correct.
Right? They may have a skill in doing what it is that you do, but they don't do it exactly the way you do it. They're all of those things, and we don't want to give them that opportunity to have to make decisions in the beginning.
Right.
Over time, as they get smarter and they get better, we can let them make more decisions. But in the beginning, we want to minimize those decisions that they make.
Right.